So this summer my project was mainly primary and secondary source historical research. I worked from home for the most part, but I made a few trips to the Beinecke Library at Yale. It was a really great experience. And my work was centered on two individuals, Victoria Kent, who's a Spanish woman, and Louise Crane, who was born and raised in New York. And so not only focusing on these women, but also on their associates, particularly other females, I guess you would say, in roles of power kind of during the 20th century, in roles of influence. Once I started actually getting into all my source material that I had written down with my proposal, I was obviously finding out new things that I hadn't learned before. So I guess it turned out as I expected. I wish that I had made some fascinating discoveries that maybe I didn't, but at least I feel like I learned some things that I can teach my peers and other students about, so I feel pretty confident about that. Probably the most difficult part was just writing my proposal and cutting that down to 1,000 words. I obviously had a lot of enthusiasm when I was applying, so once I received the grant though, there's no interview process or anything, just the committee meets, so it was really easy working with the Center for the Humanities moving forward. I didn't really have the chance to collaborate with many people during my research, but definitely my advisor for the project, Dr. Ana Gomez Perez in Loyola Spanish Department, was hugely influential in helping me write my proposal and even giving me the idea for my grant, because I had known that I wanted to apply for this, but I was having a hard time settling on a focus. So I was in her class last spring and she gave me some ideas, and she kept me really engaged with the Spanish language and Spanish history following my time abroad last fall. So she was really influential just in the process of helping me pursue my passions. Well, aside from all the specific information about the individuals I was studying, I would say it's really fascinating how history repeats itself, which sounds cliche, but I just think it's really important that we continue to study, especially marginalized histories. So I think I forgot to mention this, but the women I was studying, yes. They were business partners and they founded a magazine, but they were also romantic partners, so we don't have a lot of queer history, so I think it's especially important that we elevate those histories now. So that was a really interesting facet of my work. Probably, I wouldn't say it was surprising or unusual, but maybe a bit of a roadblock was that one of my sources that I had was a book written by Carmen de la Guardia, and it was called Victoria Kent and Louise Crane in New York, so it was ideal because it was focusing on the women that I was interested in. However, this scholar had found out, it seemed, just about everything that she could about them, so then I was left with the challenge of, okay, how can I reframe this and make it original? So I had to be a little more creative and flexible, but I was certainly thankful that I had this great resource. So I would say that this was a really great experience for me because I have been considering going into academia, considering grad school and PhD programs, and having this research opportunity kind of let me dip my toes in the water of research and that field. So I'm still uncertain if that's what I want to do, but at least now I have a bit of an idea versus going into a career path blindly. Like I said, my research, the way I designed it, wasn't super collaborative, and I am passionate about working with people, so I might want to take that into consideration for my future. But I do love learning about the past. I just think it's equally important to share that with others in the present. I think a lot of students don't know about this grant, but I try to tell them about it because it's such a great opportunity. Like I said, especially if a student is considering academia or if they just want the permission to explore some of their academic passions and share that with others. So I would definitely recommend that students do this. thank you to the center, and thank you to my advisor, Ana Gomez Perez. This has been a wonderful opportunity.